Yo, we're back. I'm actually going to talk to you guys on how I executed yesterday because I actually forgot to do the trade recap for that day. Um, Really simple stuff, really. Actually, it's slightly high level, but if you do find this educational, make sure to like and subscribe because it really does help me out and help me help more people out because it's all free at the end of the day. So, coming into the day, really, this is where the day starts right here. And what we notice is just quite simply the fact that news came up bearish. And I was like, oh, the market's due for a retracement into at least this order block right here. And there's resting liquidity right under it. So at the very least, I can expect for price to actually come into here. So I had that internal bias coming in. And I also saw that 4 hour structure was actually bearish, right? We broke structure internally, right? And we also revisited the order block that caused that break of structure. But when you refine it, it's actually an imbalance right here. We revisited that. So to me, I know that the 4 hour is bearish, and then we have news that's bearish. The 1 hour, yes, it is bullish. We've retraced back into premium slash a fair value gap. So I need to invalidate this 1 hour structure in order for me to say it's safe to go bearish or go short, right? So what happens is I see a 15-minute break of structure off this 8:30 news candle release. I'm thinking, okay, interesting. We still have this low to get to. Ideally, I'd like to see a retrace back on up or find a trade within the rip into this area of liquidity. So what do? Quite simply, I scale out to low time frames now because I know that the hourly has been invalidated by 15 minutes break of structure. So at that point, I'm thinking to myself, okay, so I have 15 minutes on my side, I have 4 hour on my side, and I also know that the 5 minutes and the 15-minute has been pricing very efficiently when going up. So if it expands lower, it can definitely expand it. It's most likely not retracing. It's probably going to target liquidity. So with that being said, I'm like, okay, 5 minutes bearish, beautiful. So I'm like, okay, 5 minutes bearish, 15 minutes bearish, 1 minute is pretty much bearish. And I'm also thinking to myself, the hourly is bullish, yes, but we've just invalidated this 15-minute low. And we're likely going to see a sweep of the Asian low at the very least, if not high time frame liquidity into this demand zone here. So what do I expect? Low time frame price to get filled efficiently. So what do you see here? Quite simply, price does what? Makes a leg, comes back into OTE, right? See, most people when starting off would think that's not OTE, but it is. It did the internal retracement on the lower time frames. Price comes back in here, same thing, fills into OTE. Price comes back in again here, does the same thing, and now we get this. This is where the point where I was like, oh, this is a clear change of character. We broke structure on the 15-minute, and it's been confirmed. And also, we're very close to that 1 hour close, and we are at that 8:40-ish mark. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, we had this initial 15-minute candle here, and we've actually managed to stay there. And now I'm actually expecting for us to have the next 15-minute candle continue even lower. So what do? Very simply say, okay, I want to see fair value gaps to the downside get filled. I also want to see bullish invalidations to execute. So what do exactly here? I see this fair value gap get mitigated because every other fair value gap here, except for this one, which was the OTE retracement happening on like the 15-second most likely, was mitigated. Fair value gap mitigated. I'll even mark it out just for you guys to see it. Fair value gap mitigated, right? And then we made another fair value gap, which I actually executed off of. This fair value gap came back in. It did break structure by a little bit, but that was not my concern. My concern was I wanted to see bullish structure get invalidated, like this little fair value gap right here gets invalidated. And as we come down into here, I'm like, perfect. That's all the confirmation I needed to know that this fair value gap was valid. Reaction, invalidation of the fair value gap. And now we're headed lower. I'm good to go. I could have, yes, executed off the retrace into the order block. That was one way to enter. I just knew that that was good enough for me. Now, safer entry, again, this one right here. So what happens? Price goes in, we catch the whole move. And yes, I thought it would go even lower, but by the time I partialed out, I was up already 3R. So yep, that's that trade. If you guys did find this educational and you guys see how when news does come in and you can expect these flushes into areas of liquidity and see how you can capitalize on them because they tend to just fill on the extremely low time frames and not on the high time frames because it's just a draw towards the liquidity so that it can head in their actual direction. and this is how you're supposed to execute. And if you did learn some stuff from this, make sure to follow and subscribe. I might have gone everywhere and nowhere right there, but yes, join the Discord. It's free. I post all of my trades in there live. So yeah, subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys in the next one.